Hi everyone, welcome back to the processes within the project management body of knowledge. This one we're looking at is controlling the costs within your project. Now, where are we sitting in our overall project? As you can see, we've initiated our project. Now we've planned our project through all of the bits and pieces as well. We've executed our project and created those deliverables. And as we're doing that, now we really need to make sure that the cost stays on track and it doesn't go too far off, so we're not spending too much, or we're spending the appropriate amount to get the right output for our project. And that's where we're controlling and monitoring and controlling the costs within our project. So controlling costs is the process of monitoring the status of the project to update the project costs and managing changes to the cost baseline if and when they occur. The key benefit of this process is that the cost baseline is maintained throughout the project. So as you know, with our cost budget, we've actually made that a baselined document. And to change that, now we need to go through the change request process, which is Perform Integrated Change Control 4.6 in our project management processes. And that might need to go through the change control board, if there is one in your project or organization, and at the very least it needs to be signed off by the project sponsor themselves, or so whoever is funding this project or wherever the deliverables are going into or being delivered. Here's an overview for controlling the costs. So updating the budget requires knowledge of the actual costs spent to date, so that's very important. Any increase to the authorized and baselined budget can only be approved through the Perform Integrated Change Control process, change request, and that's 4.6 project management processes. Monitoring the expenditure goes hand in hand with knowing the value of the work accomplished for such expenditures. So we need to know the cost, how is the cost going, but what have we delivered? Have we delivered more than what we wanted, or have we delivered less than what we wanted? And so we need to understand both of those things, what we've spent and the value at the same time. Project cost control includes influencing the factors that create changes to the baseline, managing the actual changes when they occur, preventing unapproved changes, and informing the appropriate stakeholders of all approved changes and associated costs if and when that happens. Let's look at the inputs, tools and techniques and outputs for controlling our costs. As always, our favorite, the project management plan. Our overall plan is an input into almost every process in the project management body of knowledge. And there are certain things within there too. So the cost management baseline, the cost management plan itself, performance measurement baseline as well. We need project documents, our project funding requirements, where the money is coming from, and our work performance data, how our project is tracking the raw data of the activities that have been completed and the milestones that we've achieved, and then organizational process assets or templates that we might be using as part of our project. Tools and techniques, again, our other favorite is expert judgment. We'll be needing experts from in many different areas as always, and as a project manager, it's our job to gather that expertise in order to make the work happen. We might need data analysis, and this is where some really special analysis comes into play for our cost in a similar way to our schedule, but this is really big, a little bit bigger stuff, and we've got a key concept video or a couple of these that you can go through as well. We've got earned value analysis, variance analysis, so how are we tracking versus what have we planned, trend analysis, and reserve analysis. We might need the 2 complete performance index. So what is it going to take cost-wise for us to be able to finish this project, depending on where we're up to? And of course, the project management information system, which, as you know, is the overall overarching system, in quotes, multiple different items, processes, systems, whether it's a program or multiple programs. It's our overall system for managing and gathering the information within our project, the activities, the cost, the schedule, how is it tracking, what's been completed, all of that goes into the project management information system. Outputs, we've got work performance information. So our raw data, as you know, turns into work performance information, percentages and ratios that make it easier to see how we are tracking. cost forecasts, change requests, project management plan updates, and project documents updates. And as you can see, controlling the cost, determining our budget comes into it, directing and manage project work comes into it as well, because we're needing to direct and deliver those items as we're going along. But as an output, we're also wanting to monitor and control that project work and perform integrated change control as well if there are change requests required. Of course, we're updating our project management plan and the project documents as well. Let's look at the inputs in more detail. We've got the project management plan. So cost management plan, what's the process that we're going through to manage and create and to fund our project? The cost baseline itself, locked in a certain place in time, that's our cost baseline, needs to go through a change request if we need to make any changes. And performance measurement baseline, so what are the measures and what's the baseline for those measures that we're measuring our benefits by and our performance by. The project documents. Examples of project documents could be the lessons learned register. So of course we want to gather any lessons learned from previous projects and gather them for future projects from our one as well. We might have project funding requirements. This could include projected expenditures. So we've got some money here, but what are we looking to spend in the future? And that's our time-based budget that we were looking at before. And this might be any anticipated liabilities and also risks that we need to call out. Are there any risks to delivery that will impact the cost of our project? Work performance data, the raw data and information, contains information on data on project status, such as which costs have been authorized, what costs have been incurred, invoiced, and ultimately what has been paid. Organizational process assets that we'll see might be cost control related policies, procedures or guidelines within your organization. And again, they can come from the team that you're working in, the project management office that you're working within, the functional management area that you're working in, or the organization itself. Cost control tools that you might have, systems or processes there, and monitoring and reporting methods that are used throughout the organization. How can you tie into those and what are they? Make sure that you're aware of what exists and what you can use. Tools and techniques for controlling our costs. Now, of course, our favorite, expert judgment. We might need experts in variance analysis. So what have we planned versus how are we tracking? What's the actual? Earned value analysis, forecasting, and financial analysis as well. Now let's look at this earned value analysis. And there's a key concept video on this as well, but it's basically one of the most common data analysis techniques in the cost process group. So earned value management integrates the scope baseline with the cost baseline and the schedule baseline to form the performance measurement baseline. Earned value management develops and monitors 3 key dimensions for each work package and control account. The planned value. So what had we planned to be completed? Let's say we had planned to be 50% complete at this stage and we had a budget at completion of $10,000. Then obviously our planned value would be 50% of $10,000, and that's $5,000 at this stage, planned value. Now what have we earned? So the earned value, what have we completed? Let's say we've completed 40% of our project and we've still got our budget at completion of 10,000. So now 40% of 10,000, we've earned or completed that's our $4,000 worth of value. That's what we have actually delivered. And actual cost, what have we actually spent? Let's say we've actually spent $4,000 as well. So that's what we've actually spent. Actual cost is then $4,000. And with our variance analysis, that's when we're analyzing all of these bits and pieces and we're putting them together to see how we're actually tracking. And this is where variance analysis comes into it. So earned value minus planned value. As you could see, our earned value previously, we'd earned 4,000, but we had planned 5,000. So 4,000 minus 5,000, we're minus 1,000. That's our schedule variance. So now we're $1,000 behind basically. Cost variance, our earned value, so we'd earned 4,000 and minus our actual cost. But remember, we'd spent $4,000 as well in our previous example. So 4,000 minus 4,000 equals 0. So we're actually right on track for our cost. There's no cost variance at all. Data analysis and trend analysis. So we may need to look at charts and forecasting, and this is where we're actually putting this into practice, a nice visual chart that we can see over time. Data analysis and reserve analysis, we may need contingency or management reserves, and contingency reserves may go into our cost baseline itself, and management reserves will just be added on top just in case of any unforeseen risks that do come up. We'll definitely need the 2 complete performance index as well, and this is also covered in a key concept video. What money do we need in order to complete the project? Are we on track? Is it exactly what we had planned, or do we need more money in order to finish this project? Tools and techniques as well. We'll need the project management information system. So this is our earned value management dimensions such as planned value, earned value, and actual cost. And we can use that to display graphical trends, maybe charts, or those sorts of things, and put them into reports for executives as well. Outputs that we'll see are our work performance information. This includes information on how the project work is performing compared to that cost baseline. So that's really our variance analysis that we have seen, and that's our work performance information. We're comparing actual costs to what we had planned in the first place. We'll also have outputs as cost forecasts themselves, so an estimate at completion. Of course, there'll be change requests if any changes to the baseline need to happen. The project management plan may need updating as well, so our cost management plan, cost baselines, and performance management baselines may need to be updated. And lastly, we've got our project document updates, like basis of estimates. Is that changing? Cost estimates. We need to gather any lessons learned, and obviously gather any risks as we're going along. And that is all of the detail that you'll see in controlling the costs for your project management body of knowledge.